Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how to use the moon cycle to manifest and how to track the moon cycles. I'm going to get you right on together. So just a quick question. Has anybody looked at the moon for the past few days? If you know what moon cycle or what phase of the moon we're in, go ahead and drop your guess in the comment section below. I'm going to see if anybody can get it. I'm going to give you about 60 seconds, maybe a little bit less. But let me know if you know what phase we are in currently of the moon cycle. The bubbly one says she doesn't know. That's A-okay. Maybe somebody's gonna get it for us. If not, I'm going to tell you. We're not in the waxing phase. So the waxing phase is right after the new moon. Waxing means that the moon is growing. So we're not in the waxing phase. The new moon actually has not come up yet. The new moon is going to be on the 13th of this month. So we're actually, I'm going to see, I don't think anybody else has gotten it. We're actually in the waning gibbous phase of the moon, okay? We're in the waning gibbous phase of the moon. If you go outside and you can find the moon and you look at it, what you'll notice is that the moon, okay, Sharon 1377, she got it. Thanks, Sharon. She gave us waning. Yes, so the moon is now waning. The light of the moon, the sun's light that is refracted off of the moon is now decreasing. So we're heading towards the new moon. We know that the new moon is that dark moon in the sky. Okay, so congratulations, Sharon 1377. She was right. And the new moon is coming up on the 13th of this month. So hopefully you all are going to take plenty of notes during the next 2 days so that you can get ready for the new moon phase and go ahead and implement some of the suggestions, the tips, tools, and techniques that I'm going to be giving you over today and tomorrow. So let me just say really quick, just give you a little some basics on the moon, okay? So I'm pretty sure we all know that the moon does not have its own light, okay? So the moon looks like it's shining, but the moon does not actually illuminate its own light. The light of the sun is refracted off of the moon, and that is what we see or don't see depending on the angle of the sun and the moon and earth and how everything corresponds together, okay? So actually, the moon orbits the earth about 1 time per month. And that is actually where we get the word month from. So the word month is derived from the word moon. So there are typically a few extra days in the month because even though the word month is derived from the word moon, the month actually goes on a sun cycle, a kind of sun cycle, kind of like a combination of them both. But the moon cycle is typically about 28 days. And then our months, as they are now, typically have about 30 to 31 days. And then in February, we get those 28, 29 days. Okay. So that is one reason why I do like to work with the moon cycles personally, because the moon cycles really do fit. So if you're following the moon cycles, there are going to be 13 moon cycles in a solar year. So that's why I like to work with the moon cycles. They just correspond and correlate a little bit better for me. So that's just what I like to do. I'm also going to be presenting information on the sun cycles toward the end of the week. So perhaps the sun cycle may work better for you. But let's go ahead and talk about the moon cycle. So let me give you the phases of the moon. So there actually are 8 phases of the moon. And you know how I like to do. Let me get my tea ready. If you're ready for the first phase of the moon, go ahead and drop me a number 1 in the comment section below, and let's talk about that first phase. If you're ready to talk about the first phase of the moon, go ahead and drop me a number 1 in the comment section below. Let me know that you have your pens and your paper ready and you're ready to take notes, because y'all know I like to talk fast. I like to get on tangents. So I just want to make sure we're all here and we're rolling together. Okay, so I'm seeing those ones. So the first phase, I just mentioned it, is going to be the new moon. So let's talk about the celestial body. So we have the earth, we have the sun, and we have the moon. Hey, Jack is here. Jack is in the house. If this is your first time here, and I think someone else joined us really quickly. Queen Lenaze. I'm not sure if I'm saying your name right, but congratulations if you all are here. If your intuition has led you here, if this is your first time, don't let it be your last time. Right now, we're talking about the new moon phase. Okay, so the new moon is when the earth is the earth, sun, and the moon, or I can do it like this to make it easier for the camera. They're all aligned with each other. I should have brought some props. So if we have the earth right here, then we have the moon, and then we have the sun. Okay, so they're all aligned. This is going to be the new moon phase. So the moon, the sun is shining on the side of the moon that we don't see. So that's why on this side where we are, when we're at the earth looking at the moon, we see the moon's face as dark. Okay, we see the moon's face as dark because the sun is actually shining on the other side of the moon and reflecting back into space this way. So we're not seeing that. Okay. So that is the first phase of, I'm actually going to go through the phases of the moon. I'm going to give some information, and then I'm going to start to show you how you can work with the moon cycles, because I just want to make sure that you have the nuts and bolts down before I start to give you that information overload. Bioluminous said he's got his tea and his paper ready. What kind of tea are you drinking this evening, Bioluminous? And hey, Queen Linnaeus, thanks for the hand. Thanks for waving hi. So that's the first phase. So make sure you write that down. Phase 1 is going to be your new moon phase. That's going to be your phase 1. Once you got that down and you've kind of intellectually understood how the correlation is between the sun, the moon, and the earth, go ahead and drop me that number 2 in the comment section below if you're ready for the second phase. I don't know if y'all can hear this, but the solfeggio frequency has some like promotions going on, and I don't do promotions and commercials. I'm like, what's going on? I'm not going to watch this channel anymore. Messing with my flow. Okay, Bioluminous with the turmeric chai. Thank you. You're giving me the 2s. We got 3 2s and 2 2s from artists. Okay, so the second phase of the moon is going to be the waxing crescent moon. Okay, thank you, Love Handmaidens, for that number 2 as well. Okay, it said it's not that loud. Good. Well, I'm going to turn it up a little bit more so I get my vibe right. So the waxing crescent moon is going to be, that's when we start to see just the little sliver of light that starts to reflect off of the moon. And so we basically are going to have 2 different sections. We're going to have the waxing, which means the moon is growing. And then we have the waning section, which means the moon is shrinking, or the light of the moon is dissipating and is going away. Okay, so the waxing crescent, as we can tell by the name, that means the light of the moon is growing. And that means we're starting to get that crescent, you know, that little crescent. So that's going to be the second phase of the moon, the waxing crescent. So if you got that down, first phase, new moon, second phase, waxing crescent. If you're ready for the third phase, go ahead and drop me a number 3 in the comment section below and let me know that you're ready to roll with the moon, that you're ready to, you know, grow with the phases of the moon that's what we're doing. Let me know if you're ready for the third phase of the moon. Drop me that number 3 in the comment section below. Let me know. Okay, I'm seeing those 3s. I'm seeing those 3s. I'm seeing those 3s. So the next phase of the moon is going to actually be the first quarter. So when we see the first quarter moon, so you see the moon like this, we cut that in half. So this is going to be called, I wrote it down. You all know I love to do. Okay, so this is called the terminator. The terminator is, you know, the line where we see or don't see light. So if we have the circle that represents the moon, the terminator's down the center, we have half of the moon is lit up, half the moon is in the dark. That is going to be your quarter moon phase. And this is when the moon and the sun are at 90 degrees. Okay, so they're no longer in that 180 degree line. They're kind of at that right angle. And so you're seeing that reflection as just a it's half lit. Okay. So that is going to be your first quarter. So the first phase of the moon is new moon. The second phase is going to be your waxing crescent. The third phase is going to be your quarter moon. And if you're ready for that fourth phase, you already know what to do. Drop me a number 4 in the comment section below once you have those written down. Once you have those written down, go ahead and drop me a number 4 in the comment section below and let me know that you're ready to identify and learn about the fourth phase of the moon in the moon cycle. Just Snugs is in the house. We haven't seen you in a minute. Thank you for blessing us with your Scorpio energy. Why is it not a half moon? That's what the bubbly one is saying. You know, I don't know why. You can call it a half moon if that's what you want to call it, but I mean that's not the name that is used. And the only thing that I can think of is like a full moon, the full moon is going to be our fifth phase. But I mean, it's called the first quarter moon. I'm not sure, but I think it's actually called the first quarter moon, because if we're talking about the light, then the darkest moon of the 8 phases is going to be, no light. So that's 0 quarters, 0%. Then if we have half of the moon that's light and half of the moon that's dark, it's not really a half moon, because to me the half moon would be the full moon, because we still have to the light still has to dissipate. So this is a quarter moon, because it is 1/4 of the way through the entire moon cycle. So maybe that explains a little better. So let's see, we're on 4. Okay, so the 4th phase is going to be our gibbous moon. Okay, so some people may call this the gibbous crescent moon or the waxing gibbous moon. I think they call it the waxing gibbous moon. I just call it the gibbous. But we can call it the waxing gibbous because there's also a waning gibbous. So the 4th, go ahead and write that down as your 4th cycle, your 4th phase of the cycle. Call it the waxing gibbous moon. That's going to give you the most appropriate identifier. The moon is waxing, it's still growing. And gibbous kind of means a swollen moon. A swollen moon. So it's not quite a full moon because the light isn't fully shining on there. Yes, so Dress Snugs, just thank you. Just like he said, the waxing is when it's getting full. So waxing means the moon is getting full. The light is starting to reflect more and more. And then the gibbous is the swollen part of the moon. So it's not quite a full moon. It's almost there, though. So that's going to be the waxing gibbous moon. Okay, so our first phase is going to be the new moon. Hey, Love Light Adventure, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time here, don't let it be your last time, okay? So the first phase of the moon is going to be your new moon. The second phase is going to be your waxing crescent. The third phase is going to be your first quarter moon. Then our 4th phase is going to be your waxing gibbous moon. So if you have that written down, go ahead and drop me a 5 in the comment section below if you are ready for the 5th moon phase. If you're ready for the 5th phase in the moon cycle, go ahead and drop me that number 5 in the comment section below. Hey, boom diggity, good evening. If you're ready for that 5th phase, and this is the big one that everybody's looking forward to, drop me that 5. Okay, so I'm seeing those 5s. Thank you. So the 5th phase of the moon is going to be the full moon. We all know this one. That's when the light of the sun is like fully shining on the moon, and it's what am I saying? I'm trying to say refracted and reflected, but I was putting them together. So it's refracted or reflected back onto us. So when we see the full moon, that's that bright moon, the big bright moon. A lot of people do get the full moon and the new moon confused, but the new moon, remember, the sun is behind the moon. So yes, just like Just Snug says, that's when the crazies come out and we turn into werewolves and all of that. So when the sun is is shining on the side of the moon that we can't see, remember the moon appears dark to us. It's still a full moon, because we can see it entirely, but the light it's not fully lit up. When it's fully lit up and you hear the animals howling and, the crazies come out and the zombies are rising up out of the earth and all of that good stuff, then that is going to be your full moon cycle. That's the full moon phase in the moon cycle, okay? So you have your new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, gibbous, and then the full moon. If you're ready for the 6th phase of the moon cycle, go ahead and drop me a number 6 in the comment section below. Go ahead and drop me a number 6 in the comment section below if you are ready for that 6th phase of the moon cycle. Let me know. I want to make sure that you all have the notes. I want to make sure that you have the nuts and bolts, because as we go on and we get into the energy of the moon and what you can use this for and what activities you want to do here and there, you want to make sure that you know your moon cycle forwards and backwards, okay? Thank you for those sixes. Thank you for those sixes. So the sixth phase of the moon cycle is going to be your waning gibbous moon. So waning, remember, the waxing is on the up end. You know, the moon is getting fuller, it's getting brighter. And then we hit the full moon, that's the apex. And then there is the waning part of the moon, the waning phase of the moon cycle, where the moon starts to get darker again. Okay, so that's what we're going into now. So the waning gibbous moon, the waning gibbous is the moon is swollen. So remember, it's swollen, full of light. It's not completely full, but now it's starting to get darker. So we have a sliver of darkness, okay, that's starting to come. Versus on the waxing gibbous, we have that. Let me think about this. Moon is growing, crescent. Actually, they both probably look about the same, except the sliver is going to be on a different end of it. So the bubbly one said, do people really act strange with the full moon? Just Snug says, yes, people really do. The energy starts pulling the crazy stuff, like how it affects the oceans and the water. I'm going to talk to you all about that in just a few more minutes. I have some studies for us. Well, I have an abstract of a study, and then I'm going to give you the title of the study in case you want to go look it up for yourself to really read what happens, okay? So the sixth phase is going to be your waning gibbous moon, okay? So if you're ready for the seventh phase, we're almost there, y'all. I know it's a lot. If you're ready for the seventh phase, go ahead and drop me a number 7, seventh heaven. Go ahead and drop me a number 7 in the comment section below, letting me know that you've already written down the first 6 phases of the moon. You got them on your paper, you got them on your notes, and you're ready for the seventh phase of the moon, okay? And what I would suggest is, after the workshop is over, go to Google Images and type in moon cycles or moon phases, and you're going to be able to find an image of all of the moon phases, so that you can see exactly what they look like. And beside each name, you might want to draw a circle and fill it in, color it in, so that you can really understand once again what each phase of the moon looks like corresponding with the name. Okay, perfect. Thank you for those 7s. Thank you for those 7s. So the 7th phase of the moon cycle is going to be your 3rd quarter moon. Okay, so your 3rd quarter moon, once again, the terminator is going to cut halfway across the face of the moon. So you have the moon, you have your terminator cutting halfway across, and then now once again we have one side of the moon that's illuminated and one side of the moon that's in the dark. Okay, so that's going to be your 3rd quarter moon. Okay, so you can draw that on the paper. Your circle, line down, and then shade half of it. Shade the opposite half. Whatever half you shaded for the 1st quarter, the 3rd phase of the moon, shade the opposite side, okay? So that's going to be your 7th phase of the moon cycle. And if you're ready for the final phase of the moon cycle, the 8th phase, go ahead and drop me a number 8 in the comment section below. Let me know if you're ready for that 8th phase of the moon cycle. We got to get this down so we have the nuts and bolts, so we know what we're talking about, okay? If you're ready for that 8th phase of the moon cycle, that last phase of the moon cycle, go ahead and drop me a number 8 in the comment section below, after you have written everything you need to write down on your notes, on your pages, okay? Perfect. I'm seeing those 8s. I'm seeing those 8s. I'm seeing those 8s. So the last phase of the moon is going to be your waning crescent. So remember, we have a crescent, a sliver of light. We have just a sliver of light as the light is disappearing. And the waning means that the light is disappearing and the crescent is just that little sliver. So waning crescent is going to be your 8th phase of the moon cycle. And then it starts back over, because then the light of the moon completely dissipates and we're back at the new moon. Okay, so just to go through them really quickly, your first phase is going to be the new moon. That's when the moon is completely dark. Then you have your waxing crescent, when the light starts to just fill in and you just have just a little sliver of light. Then you have your 1st quarter, where the light is kind of filled in. Now it's halfway across the moon. The terminator cuts through the moon, and this side of the moon is completely lit up. This side is completely dark. Then you have your gibbous, your waning gibbous. So if we have our circle for the full moon, maybe like, ooh, it's hard for me to do my hands. So we have just like this much that's in the darkness. That little sliver that's left right there, that's the darkness, and everything else over here is going to be lit up. So that's going to be your your waxing gibbous moon. Then you go into your full moon, so everything is lit. We lit, y'all. We where the money resides. We in there. We in that thing. The energy is going. The crazies are out. The full moon is bright. It's a bright moon in the sky. Then what happens is we start to wane. So we go into the waning gibbous. So from this side, then we have a little crescent on this side where there's a little darkness that comes in. Okay, there's a little darkness that comes in. Everything over here is lit up, and it's a little section right here. You know, I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying. There's a little section like this where it's just a little bit dark. Okay, so that's going to be our waning gibbous. Then we're going to go into our third quarter moon. Okay, so we have the terminator down the face of the moon. On this side, it's completely lit up. On this side is in the dark now. So that's our third quarter moon. Then we have our waning crescent. So over here, we have just a little bit of light. You know, over here, everything is dark. We have just a little bit of light that's left right there. Brian said the struggle. I'm doing the best I can, y'all. Doing the best I can. So we have just this much is in the light. You know, everything over here is dark. So that is going to be our waning crescent. And then everything is back in the dark and we're back at the new moon. Okay, so what I want y'all to do is drop me some 8s in the comment section below if you got your moon cycles down. If you got the different phases of the moon cycle down, go ahead and drop me a number 8 in the comment section below. 8 is that number of harmony. That means, you know, we all on the same page. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down. If we turn that 8 to the side, that's an infinity symbol, letting me know that, you know, y'all are infinitely wise and that y'all got it. Y'all got it. Let me know that you got it so we can move on. Okay, perfect. So we got the phases of the moon. So let me go through. I have some little facts for y'all. So this section I titled How the Phases of the Moon Affects All of Nature. Okay, so let me read what I wrote for y'all. We know that the moon affects water and the tides on Earth. Actually, it's the moon and the sun that affects the tides on the Earth, not just the moon alone. It is important to note that the human body is 60% water. The brain is made of 73% water. The lungs are made of 83% water. The skin contains 64% water. The muscles and kidneys are 79% water. And even the bones are 31% water. Many people believe that working with the moon is something that is only appropriate or is only for, we'll call it just say for, it's only for those who consider themselves mystics, witches, pagans, or anyone in this category. But I would say that that is just a perspective. The fact is that all of us have bodies and the composition of our bodies are the same. Well, the composition of our bodies is the same. We are all natural creatures of the earth, and all of the elements and energies of the earth are affecting our body, emotions, and energy as well. As humans, we are not separate from nature. We are a part of nature itself. So I just think that this is important, really, just so that we get just a grasp. A lot of times, as human beings, because we have a high intellectual faculty, we tend to separate ourselves from nature, but we're a part of nature, y'all. And that's why I like working with the moon cycle, because it allows me to get in touch with my natural side. Instead of like making me feel like that I'm separate from everything else. It makes me feel integrated. It makes me feel whole. And then I use that integration and that holistic approach to manifest and work with my goals. Okay. So all of the energy work that I'm going to be talking to you about, the techniques, the tools that I'm going to be talking about, I would say if something resonates with you, then go ahead and use that. If it doesn't resonate with you, then throw it out like a grain of salt, you know, and keep it moving. But the whole point here is for you all to get those tips, tricks, tools, techniques that work for you. I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. I have to change this. I have to change this. I cannot continue to listen to these ads. So let me go. It's like, go with what you know, Go with the solfeggio freak. I tried to do something new for the moon. I tried to do like a full moon solfeggio frequency, but those ads, I can't do it. Okay, perfect. So I have some little like facts. FAQ section. Okay, so go ahead and take notes during this section. You never know, one of y'all might be on Jeopardy or go to your local bar and they doing like trivia night, and if y'all win some money, just I would appreciate a little donation. So my first way that the phases of the moon affect nature and human beings. And so, I mean, of course, we all know about the tides, that the moon and the sun affects the tides. So the sun and the moon both affect the tides. The pull on the tide is actually the same throughout all phases of the moon cycle. The full moon does create a higher tide, but it's actually the combination of the full moon energy and the sun energy that creates the higher tide, not the full moon on its own. And I think that, and when I found that out, I just thought that was that resonated with me, because once again, even if we think about light and energy, the moon, I do believe, has its own energy. But as far as light, the moon doesn't have its own light. The light of the sun is reflected off of the moon. So that's what we see. So I do have a video for you. So if you're interested in learning more about how the moon and the sun affects the tides, then I would suggest write down Neil deGrasse Tyson. Y'all all know who he is. Neil deGrasse Tyson explains the tides. Go ahead and look that up on YouTube. Look that up on YouTube if you want to understand more about how the moon affects the tides. Okay, so my second little interesting point for you is, some researchers theorize that that human beings react to the subtle changes in the Earth's electromagnetic field. As the moon pushes and pulls on the tides, the salt in the water that is electrically charged causes the Earth's magnetic field to fluctuate. The alpha state of brain waves in humans is affected by the change in the Earth's magnetic field. If you don't know the alpha state, I'm going to be talking more about this next week, but the alpha state in your brain waves is when you are awake. So the beta state is probably what you are experiencing right now. That's when you're focused, you're awake, you're alert. The alpha state is also when you're awake and alert, but it's a little bit more dreamy. Okay, it's you're more internal. So this is, you start to experience this when you begin to meditate. As you meditate deeper, you go into other brain waves. But a lot of people experience this when they're relaxing, when they just woken up, right before they go about to sleep, right before they are about to go to sleep. And if you're in some type of deep prayer, or if you have like your eyes closed and you're kind of disassociating from your body and you're kind of just going inside, that's going to be the alpha brain wave. So that's how your body senses that characteristic of the alpha state. Okay. This is one that the bubbly one asked about. So I pulled the abstract from this article. So write this down if you're interested in this, because it's online and you can go look it up. I always say, don't just believe something because I say it or because someone else says it. Go look it up for yourself, do some research. Somebody might have got it wrong along the way. Sometimes we play telephone. The article is called Full Moon and Crime. It was published in the British Medical Journal. So it's called Full Moon and Crime, published in the British Medical Journal, volume 289 in December of 1984. So I'm going to read the abstract for you. The incidence of crimes reported to 3 police stations in different towns, one rural, one urban, one industrial, was studied to see if it varied with the day of the lunar cycle. The period of the study covered 1978 to 1982. The incidence of crimes committed on full moon days was much higher than on all other days, new moon days, and seventh days after the full moon and new moon. A small peak in incidence of crimes was observed on new moon days, but this was not significant when compared with crimes committed on other days. The incidence of crimes on the equinox and solstice days did not differ significantly from those on other days, suggesting that the sun probably does not influence the incidence of crime. The increased incidence of crimes on full moon days may be due to the human tidal waves caused by the gravitational pull of the moon. Okay, so that goes back to answer your question. Hopefully that answers your question, the bubbly one. So if you all want to get more information on that study, then you can just go ahead and Google that, Full Moon and Crime, British Medical Journal, Volume 289, December 1984, and it will bring up the article for you so you can read it yourself. You know, get it from people who have PhD after their name. I don't have a PhD after my name, okay? And just the last little thing that I have for you, biological clocks, okay? So an interesting fact, male impalas roar during the full moon, signaling to females to begin ovulating. This trigger ensures that every member of the species goes looking for a mate at the same time. This increases the chances of reproduction and the continuation of the species, okay? Okay, Just Nugs said, told you, Bubba. Yeah, look, Just Nugs was on it. He was on it, yeah. So, I mean, I guess you can take that as it being scientifically proven, you know, or studied at least, that, yeah, the crazies do come out when the full moon is out. Don't know why. You know, it says maybe due to human tidal waves caused by gravitational pull on the moon. But, you know, those are just a few fun facts for you. So let's get into working with the phases of the moon, y'all. Let's get into working with the phases of the moon. I know that's what y'all came here for. But once again, I want to make sure that you have the nuts and bolts down so that as we go through the information that, you know, you have everything that you need to really just understand. Okay. So I did do a lot of research, and I also pulled from my own experience. I know a lot of people, for example, when we get to the full moon, a lot of people use the full moon as a time to release. I don't do that, so I will mention it when we get there, but I'm not going to say to use the full moon as a time for release. And when we get there, you know, I'll explain it to you. But if you're all ready to review the first phase of the moon, and for me to tell you a little bit how you can use this phase of the moon cycle to manifest and to work with your goals, go ahead and drop me a number 1 in the comment section below. Go ahead and drop me a number 1 in the comment section below if you're ready for that new moon phase of the moon cycle and how you can use it to begin your manifestations and work with your goals. Go ahead and drop me a number 1 and then put your pen, your pencil to the paper and be ready to write these notes down. Perfect. So I'm seeing those ones. So I'm going to read to you just from my notes a little bit. Y'all know I like to take notes to make sure that I got everything. So I said, new moon, this is a low period of energy. Clearly, the light is not there yet, you know. So I coordinate this with awareness and acknowledgement. Become aware of and acknowledge the goals that you want to accomplish during the month, if you want to call it. Due to the low energy at this point in the cycle, it is easy to initiate something new at this time. Let's take the idea of a plant. This is when you are putting the seeds of your intentions and goals into the ground. On an energetic level, the sun represents our masculine energy and the moon represents our feminine energy. At the new moon period, the sun, the moon, and the earth are all aligned. So this represents a balance in our masculine and feminine energies. This is why it's a good time to get clear on your goals and intentions. Energetically, you're thinking straight and your emotions are balanced, okay? So I do have just a few activities for you to think about and perhaps engage in if you are doing some work during the new moon. Once again, so if this workshop that I'm giving now is going to be in January of 2021, and our next new moon is going to be coming on January 13th. So just get these things ready for January 13th. But I would say during the new moon phase, you want to contemplate and write out your goals, okay? Contemplate and write out your goals. Go ahead and write that down. New moon, contemplate and write out my goals. You might want to create some new affirmations during this time regarding your goals. Remember, for affirmations, I say write your affirmations in the present tense, no matter what it is. So if you write, and I would say, I am so happy and appreciative. You know, so if you write, I'm so happy and appreciative that I'm going to be a millionaire, then to me, in my opinion, that signals to the universe that you're happy and appreciative for this thought, for this energy of going to be a millionaire. So the universe is going to continue to grant you experiences that affirm to you that you're going to be a millionaire, versus if you write and you affirm, I am so happy and appreciative that I am a millionaire. That shows the universe that you are happy and appreciative for all of the money that you have amassed thus far, all of the money that you have amassed and are going to amass in the future, that is already arriving to you, that is coming to you, past, present, and future. And you're happy for being a millionaire, okay? And then the universe will continue to affirm and show you experiences that let you know that you are a millionaire. So there's a subtle difference there, okay? So you might want to write some affirmations. Just keep that little trick in mind, okay? It's a subliminal, subconscious type of thing. You can also create vision boards or do some arts and crafts. So remember, we're going to be doing our vision board, our virtual vision board workshop on the 15th, which is just 2 days after that new moon. So we right up in there, y'all. We're going to be right up in there, right on time. So make sure if you want to participate with me on making a vision board, that you have thought about what you want to accomplish for the year or what you want to make your vision board about. Remember, in the workbook that I'm going to have coming out on Monday, I'm going to have lots and lots of images so that you can print them out. You can go to, if you have a printer at home, print them at home. If not, go to FedEx, Kinko's, go to a friend's house, your local library, whatever you need to do, and then you'll have images. And if you still want to use those magazines to clip images from there, you have those as well. But I like picking my images from the internet, and I'm actually going to use a software to get the images. So I'm going to be giving you even higher quality images than what you may get from like Google or something like that, okay? So you can also create vision boards or do some type of arts and crafts during this type of period. Once again, that's getting you to become aware of and acknowledge your goals, what it is that you want to accomplish. And then I will also say use guided visualizations and meditation. So go ahead and write this down. Write this down, y'all. Write down Jason Stevenson. And Stevenson is spelled Stephenson. Okay, write down Jason Stevenson. Look him up on YouTube. I love his guided meditations and visualizations. Even if you're a person who's not very familiar with meditation and visualization, I think that you'll find his voice very soothing. He has like this British English accent. It's going to relax you. I think that the way the meditations are written and the background music and just everything about it is just perfect. If you got the My Favorite Resources bundle, okay, Bioluminous said he loves his meditations. Exactly. If you got the My Favorite Resources bundle that I sent out to the people on my text list at the beginning of the year, I included the Jason Stevenson guided meditation regarding manifestation and getting clear on your manifestation, your goals, and your intentions. That's the one that I use. If you did not get that, then what you can do is you can tap the link in my bio. And let me see. It's the Get Your Mind Right bundle. So if you get the Get Your Mind Right bundle, you'll also have that link to that guided meditation, my favorite Jason Stevenson guided meditation regarding manifestation and getting clear in your goals. It's going to be in that PDF that is in there. So if you want to get either the Get Your Life Right bundle or get the Get Your Mind Right bundle for the new year, just make sure you tap the link in my bio and those are going to be there for you. So once again, the new moon is going to be the first phase that you want to work with, okay? So this is the phase where the moon is dark, there's low light, there's low energy. And so I just think that it's very easy to slip your intentions right on in. And then as you go along to ride the rise and ride the wave, ride the phase, ride the moon cycles and the energy that's coming up here and use it for your benefit. Okay, so that's going to be that's going to be your first phase, and I think we can get another one in before time is going to be up for us. So if you are ready for that second phase, if you're ready to learn how to work with that second phase of the moon cycle, go ahead and drop me a number 2 in the comment section below. Go ahead and drop me a number 2 in that comment section below if you're ready to learn how you can work with the second phase of the moon cycle in order to track your goals, to accomplish your goals, in order to manifest whatever it is that you want to get in 2021. This tea is good, y'all. I'm also drinking some chai tea. It's not turmeric chai like Bioluminescence. Mine is a vanilla cinnamon chai. Perfect. So I'm seeing those twos. So remember, the second phase in the moon cycle is going to be that waxing crescent moon. So I call this the building energy phase in your research phase. So go ahead and write that down. Waxing crescent moon dash building energy slash research. Okay. Waxing crescent moon. And then I titled this building energy and research phase. So here we want to work on anchoring our intentions, gathering resources, and becoming more curious. So I said, taking the metaphor of our plants, this is when the sprouts are just popping up above the soil. So remember, in the new moon, we planted those seeds, y'all. We started planting those seeds in our fertile ground. We know our ground is tilled. It's ready to go. Now, in the waxing crescent moon, the sprouts are just popping up above the soil. You may want to narrow your focus. This was also one of the tips that I gave you in the workshop on 11 ways to be consistent in your New Year's goals. I don't remember which tip it was, but remember I told you it was towards the beginning, but remember I told you to narrow your focus and don't overload yourself. So you might just want to evaluate your goals. You know, you're still kind of in this evaluation. The energy is building. You're still kind of in this phase. Okay. So regarding plants, we know that if we have too many seedlings close together, then they compete for resources. We want to thin them out, narrow your focus, water your goals with your intentions so that they can grow big and strong. During this period, you can also experience doubt in trying something new. So you want to make sure that you stick to it. Whatever it is that you're moving forward with as you go through the moon cycle, make sure that you don't give up now. You know, and I think I even told you about this, and I'll reiterate it when we talk about the sun cycles, how you can use the sun cycle to manifest. But in the beginning, especially when you're trying something new, maybe something that you've not done before, it can seem a little difficult or it can seem a little daunting. But you don't want to give up now. It's the beginning. You want to keep it moving. This is the learning, growing phase, you know, the phase where the energy is building. So you don't want to give up. You want to stick to your intentions. Okay, stick to them and get clear. Anchor your intentions, gather resources, and become more curious. Okay. So some activities that you can do scripting. Okay, so I've talked to you all about scripting plenty of times now. So if you haven't yet created your intentions, you can do so during this period. Engage your imagination and visualization. And visualize what your life will look like once you have achieved your goals. Begin to feel appreciative for your goals having already been accomplished. You also want to look for resources. So begin to look on udemy.com, look on masterclass.com, look on coursera.org, go on YouTube. There are a lot of classes and information that you can find on YouTube. I believe that YouTube is the #1 search engine in the world. It's either #1 or #2, okay? Begin seeking out a guide or a mentor, somebody who has done what you has gone down this path before, and they can give you advice. Perhaps you want to book a session with a life coach. Hint, hint, hint. So they can help you get clear on your goals and your intentions and help you create a plan. Okay. So let's see. And if you haven't already, make a list of 3 to 7 things that you can do each day in order to be in alignment with the fruition of your goal. So typically I do this on the new moon, but I mean, the new moon and the waxing crescent moon, they're kind of about the same area. I don't say that they're exactly the same because they're not. Clearly they're called 2 different things, and the moon looks different, you know, so there is a difference, but you're still in this beginning phase. So, I mean, if you haven't yet just jump right on in there, then you can still take these days to just get clear on some things, gather your resources, start to take a look around, enroll in some classes, enroll in some courses, register for a seminar or a master class or whatever it is, because that way you have exactly what you need in order to get more hands-on with the material and whatever it is that you're setting out to do as you move forward in your goals and as you move forward in the moon cycle, okay? So you can also continue your guided meditations and visualizations regarding goal setting and intentions during this period, okay? So I don't want to move any further just because of the time. So we covered the new moon and the waxing crescent moon, and tomorrow we will cover the rest of the phases. But does anybody have any questions, any comments, or anything that you want to ask right now?